a lot. I respect Destiny a lot. Destiny's changed my opinions about a number of things like January 6th. What is Kick? Kick is effectively a loss leader for stake. And I think that Elon Musk is using Twitter as a loss leader for Tesla and SpaceX by losing money on it to make more money by entrenching himself in the government. It exists in an ecosystem. And
that's called rent-seeking, and it's bad. It's considered a bad thing. It's considered a bad thing in a liberal capitalist society when you're spending money not on research and development, on creating a better product, not on advertising insofar as trying to get your product in front of more people, but in spending money to alter the regulatory environment to give you a competitive edge. That's called rent-seeking behavior, and it's generally either illegal or highly discouraged because you don't want people spending money on shit just to have a more competitive to make their product seem more competitive by buying the government. By definition, you want to avoid that. Rent-seeking is bad behavior.
System. And I think that he knew that, and I think that's what happened. I see what he's saying.
What is rent-seeking in economics, and what are some examples? Let's just read. Why not? Okay. Rent-seeking is defined as any practice in which an entity aims to increase its wealth without making any contributions to the wealth or benefit of society. It's typically done by manipulating the political environment and can result in social harm. A common example of rent-seeking is the act of lobbying for government-funded subsidies. Key takeaways. I don't even agree that I think that this is actually a really shit example given here. Lobbying can be forms of rent-seeking. Lobbying isn't necessarily a form of rent-seeking. This is a common example given, but I mean like a guy that manufactures solar panels or windmills or whatever that wants to advertise it to people or get in front of a politician and say like, hey, I think that your constituents could benefit from blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily know if you would consider that rent-seeking. Well, actually, no, hold on, because you're still trying to influence politicians. I'll be 50-50 on that. I'm not actually sure. One second. Key takeaways. Rent-seeking is an economic concept that occurs when an entity seeks to gain wealth without making any contributions to the benefit of society. Rent in rent-seeking is based on the economic definition of the term, which is defined as an economic wealth obtained through shrewd or potentially manipulative use of resources. An example of rent-seeking is when a company lobbies the government for grants, subsidies, or tariff protection. Rent-seeking comes in many forms, from lobbying or donating funds. For example, if you donate money but write it off on your taxes, it could be considered a form of rent-seeking. How does rent-seeking work? The concept of rent-seeking was established in 1967 by Gordon Tullock and popularized by Ann Kruger in 1974. It evolved from the studies of Adam Smith, who is often regarded as the father of economics. The concept is based on an economic definition of rent, defined as economic wealth obtained through shrewd or potentially manipulative use of resources. Smith's studies suggested that entities earn income from wages, profit, and rent. To create profit usually requires the risk of capital with the goal of gaining a return. Earning wages comes from employment. However, rent is the easiest to obtain of the three income sources and can require little risk. Economic rent is the income earned from the utilization of resource ownership. Entities that own resources can lend them to earn interest rent, lease them to earn rental income, or utilize them in other income-producing ways. In general, the term economic rent has evolved to mean receiving a payment that exceeds the cost involved in the associated resource. Entities, therefore, will take rent-seeking steps to obtain economic rent that requires no reciprocal contribution of production. One example of rent-seeking is when companies hire lobbyists to encourage the government to change regulations to make it easier for them to earn profits rather than try to spend time and money on improving their goods in the marketplace. I guess if you strictly consider this, if all lobbying is considered rent-seeking, then I guess arguably not all rent-seeking behavior would necessarily be bad then, I guess. I feel like I haven't usually heard of this term, but I guess in that case it could be. Because we can imagine forms of lobbying that can be good, and we can imagine forms of lobbying that can be bad. But I'm trying to think, imagine the government had a regulation that said that every single shirt sold is going to cost $10, and then you lobby the government to take away that tax. Would you consider that rent-seeking? Like if you're lobbying the government to reduce like a tariff or a tax, would that be considered rent-seeking behavior? My understanding is typically no, but maybe it would be. Let's see what I guess.
Doesn't want to talk in Discord? Oh God, I don't want to talk to anybody on Discord. Guys, I don't want to go and have a debate or anything about this. If I don't have a strong opinion about Elon Musk and Trump,
then do what I said before. Then just stop talking about it. Don't talk about it anymore. Why would you say that? Why would you even? That's even worse. That's even worse. Then just don't talk about it, right?
I feel like the entire fucking thing was built off of me reciting back a tweet that I thought was funny.
No, it was over a 10-minute video where you say over and over again, oh, the Citizens United and super PACs and both sides are the same and they're mad because everybody does this and all the corruption, blah, 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 blah. That's the issue. It wasn't over just a tweet. Jesus.
This isn't like a strongly held position of mine. I'm not upset about this. This isn't a strong opinion. They're just talking about a tweet. Jesus.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm good.